Well, basically, my first experience of the World Cup was the '98 World Cup with the U.S. team. The U.S. head coach was Mr. Steve Sampson, who prepared the team for the '98 World Cup, qualified them. And then he asked me about 6 months before the World Cup to join the staff and to help him with the preparation, with the scouting, tactical models, partly because obviously he knew me because I played for him at UCLA, but also the fact that he knew I was part of a development of a lot of top young players in the United States. And I was with a degree in electrical engineering. I was very good with computers, and they were trying to find a way to bring, at that moment, desktop technology, software into breaking games down, creating models, scouting models, tactical models for our own team, but also for the opponent. So, and the software at that time was called Master Coach. It was designed by a Norwegian scientist, along with the Norwegian coach Olsen. So only two teams in the world at that time had this technology, and it was given to them in the last moment prior to the World Cup. So US was one, and Norway was the other. So Steve and I had a long history. So he brought me into the team already in December. And the World Cup was in, I think, believe in May, late in May. So I started literally working 20-hour days, preparing all these models to catch up, all the qualifications of all the teams against us. In that group, we had a very difficult group: Germany, Yugoslavia at the time, and also Iran, which also is my birth country. So I knew a lot about the Iranian team. Obviously, German football, we see it all the time. I knew a lot about them and Yugoslavia. So that experience was my first World Cup experience working inside of a team. And when I experienced that, going to France and spending 3 months prior to the World Cup, traveling and seeing how the World Cup was gradually gaining momentum and the people in France getting behind their team. I still remember our first entrance coming from our training camp in Lyon, coming into Paris to play Germany. We arrived at the train station, and there were thousands of Americans with American flag, and just goosebumps. Then the bus ride from the train to the hotel, going through Champs-Élysées, going by the Eiffel Tower, and seeing people from all over the world, in a way, coming to where World Cup was going to be held, supporting their own country. And I can't even explain the feeling I felt. I was proud, I was humbled, I was excited, and I was still a young man at that moment. And to experience that, it was something that I can probably tell my grandchildren, and maybe I can be more articulate when I get older to be able to share the feeling. The U.S. team played the 3 games. We didn't get out of their group. But because of that experience, already people around the world found out that there's a young guy that has football as a coach, but also can create these kind of football models using technology, which is very new to the game. And I went to the Dutch Coaching Association invited me to make a presentation about an analysis of Argentina against Holland. And I created those images, and there were over 100+ coaches of the best coaches in the Netherlands were there. And I was showing them how we can use technology to give the right information and preparation for our team. Obviously, there was a lot of the Dutch coaches, including Mr. Hiddink and various colleagues of ours that were there. They were very impressed. And I had also a very good friend of mine whose name was Pim Verbeek, and God bless his soul, he passed. And Pim was called as the assistant coach to Mr. Hiddink for the World Cup in 2002. So prior to when Mr. Hiddink became the head coach and brought Pim as the assistant, I get a call to travel to Hong Kong for a tournament that South Korea was going to take part in. And the tournament was called the Carlsbad Tournament. And I arrived there, and I spent literally the 2 weeks period with the national team of Korea. And Mr. Hiddink wanted to meet me in person and wanted to work with me. And as we worked together, he really liked my personality and liked what I would bring to the team. And technology had also gone to the next phase. Now, laptops can capture moving pictures. You can code them, digitize them. And basically, we were only one of two teams at that time to use Sports Code, Sports Tech, the company that owns Sports Code, which now is owned by Huddle. So we basically were using our laptops to create tactical models, capture training videos, game videos, opponents, scouting. And at that time, it was very new to the game. We're talking about 2002, or at that moment, 2001, December. So Mr. Hinnie was very impressed. Then he asked me to join the team for an 18-month buildup. And so I traveled with the team all over the world. And we played teams like France twice, England. We played teams like Czechoslovakia in preparation. We played teams like Uruguay in Uruguay, because the preparation of the Korean national team was very different than any other teams. They very much took the team for almost 18 months and try to prepare them as a club team would. A lot of players would get non-FIFA dates free from their domestic teams, especially if they were playing in the local clubs. So now the World Cup was building up to South Korea. And I explained a lot to my friends in Canada that even though we're a year away, wait as we get, every day we get closer to the World Cup, it's like a drumbeat that gets louder and louder and louder. The enthusiasm, the excitement, and the colors and the sounds of the World Cup will just become more vivid. And eventually the World Cup will capture everyone's imagination. So we took the team to 2002 World Cup. The last 3 months was in South Korea. The whole country became red. The whole country became united. The whole country got behind the team. And the rest was history. The passion and the enthusiasm of the fans galvanized and inspired the players to play above and better than themselves. And we finished fourth in the world by beating teams like Portugal, Italy, Spain. And I think the semifinal loss to Germany was something that was very kind of struck me, because we were 90 minutes away from playing in the finals of the World Cup. Then that World Cup obviously was so exciting for the Korean people, Korean national team. I ended up returning back to the Korean national for 2006 World Cup, and I was just, Dick Advocate was the head coach of the team. My role grew in the team, and myself, Pim Verbeek, and Dick Advocate, and Hong Yeon-bo, which was our Korean coach, all together managed and prepared the team for the last 9 months period. And the World Cup was in France, was in Germany. And this time, for me, what's exciting is, again, Germany, after the World War II, there was very little nationalistic feeling in the country. But that World Cup, when it came to Germany, for the first time, everybody was telling us, for the first time, people were hanging a German flag outside their window. And we had a great preparation. We had France in our group, Togo in our group, and Switzerland in our group. And we beat Togo. Then we lost against France. We're down 1-0. And that was, for me, the best team in the World Cup at the time, with Zidane, Henry. You can go on with that group, Thuram as a striker. We scored in the 85th minute, Park Ji-sung, and I still remember the goal. It was a So-kyun service, and Park Ji-sung scores the goal. Game finishes 1-1. And with 4 points, we think we have a great chance to advance. And unfortunately, we lose to Switzerland 2-0 in the third game, and we don't get out of the group. So those were my 3 World Cup experiences. But what a lot of people don't know is that prior to the 2010 World Cup, I was a national team coach of Iran. I was brought in with 3 games to go in the qualification. Iran was in 4th position, 3 games, 11 days, 2 away, 1 at home. We had to play North Korea in Pyongyang. We had to play Emirates in Tehran, and we had to go to Seoul, play South Korea. 0-0 North Korea, 1-0 win against Emirates. And we go to South Korea, Seoul, and we have a 1-0 lead with about 9 minutes to go. So, and then we take an equalizer, and the game ends 1-1, and that cost us going to the World Cup. And I feel to this day, I feel such sadness about that moment, because that would have been one of the most phenomenal moments in my life, of taking the team to the World Cup as the manager, as the head coach, and we missed it by literally 8 minutes plus.